Hello everyone, this is Jim and welcome to episode 10 of oTech Minecraft. Couple of things to start with. Simon is back. Hooray! Yes, real life has kept Simon away from the server for the last, 2+ months. So it's just been me on my own playing on the server, but he's back. Yay! And we're working on very similar projects at the moment, so we'll get to that soon. Secondly, the Stargate that we worked on at the end of last episode. Well, when we finished, I decided to try and make the second one because there's not much point just having one Stargate, and we didn't have enough stuff. So I went mining for the stuff we needed and didn't find any, and so we've only got one Stargate. So that's changed the quarry plans a little, which brings us to this baby. This is what I've been working on since the last episode. So, let's have a little bit of a squeeze, shall we? This is one part of the frame quarry that we're building. Yes, one part. I've come up with a very, very, very crazy, audacious even plan for my mining system, and this is part one. So, let's have a look. Let's start right down the bottom where all the digging happens. Oop, we've got to stand on here. There we go. Good. Okay. Block breakers. These are ObsMachines block breakers. I got these ready. I finished this, the coding for this since the last episode as well, and put them on the server. These are specific block breakers I made to work exactly how I wanted. There were some issues with the other ones, like the in the chest here we've got the autonomous activators, which we saw. The terrain smashers just don't work out for what we want here. Other block breakers needed a redstone signal, so these babies don't need a redstone signal and don't need power, but they do need these things, these breaker heads, and these things take damage. So if we look at one here, and these have to be then fed into the block breakers, so they'll slowly wear out. I think this particular one, the stringite one, has 6,000 uses, but if you do some calculations and have it strip mining the ground here, that won't last real long. A little while, but not hugely long. Yeah, so no redstone signal required. If we put our little block underneath it, bang. And there it goes, and into the rest of the system, which we'll get to. So yes, ObsMachines block breakers. So there's going to be a whole lot of these underneath here. As you can see, they're facing down. This little baby goes up and down, and that's all. Up and down. These block breakers will run in a line, sort of out to the side. So from there across all the way out there as we get more resources, and out that way. And I'm hoping to get it to be 3 chunks wide eventually, which is 48 blocks wide. So initially this is what we've got now. I need all these ones here to allow for all the stuff up there, so as this digs down, none of that stuff will get stuck. So yeah, now once it digs up everything, as you can see, it's got a very large output inventory there, so it can buffer things a lot. And if you break a chest, for example, if we somehow dig out a dungeon or something, then it will pick up all the chest stuff. Well, it'll strip it out of the chest before it digs the chest. So that's the plan. And then and can store it there. So then up here we have some retrievers, putting items into these other things which are new in ObsMachines, crates. These are like chests basically, but they're just different size inventories depending on the crate. So just like chests, but there are some different sizes compared to the normal chests that we've seen and the iron chests as well. So we'll just grab this guy. So handy, these things. We'll look more at all the crates later, but the Ladignium one, I can't even say my own made up name. This guy has 64 slots, and this Atonite one has 8. So a very unusual one for this one, small amount there, but we'll get to to all the crates that are in the mod soon. So the retrievers will come up and put items into these two chests, the two Ladignium ones. These other two chests are for putting the block breaker heads and feeding them into here, and then there's a transfer node which will try and feed them into each of the block breakers down there. So that's what those two are for. But from here, items are then going out here, and some of them are filtered into these crates, and then everything else comes up here to these crates up here. So these are the sort of where everything will eventually end up in here. So the ones down here are for things like cobble, compressed cobble, double compressed cobble, and various things that can then go through to bang, to some grid crafters. So, oh, now I'm too far away. There we are. Yes, so we'll have cobble and things come in here and be turned into like compressed cobble and double compressed cobble. Also the ObsMachines, the ObsGeology rocks that have compressed versions, they'll be fed into here. We might also put things like gold nuggets, which get picked up with some of the ObsGeology rock, come in here to get them changed into ingots and stuff. So these all come out here and then get retrieved into this chest crate, and then those then come back into the system and cycle up through, maybe filtering into those again, or eventually up to the top here. And this crate here, this is where we'll put the breaker heads, and they'll go down into the block breakers down the bottom. Right, all good so far? Then, how do we power this thing? Well, yes, that's a good question. I think my power method has probably not going to cover it, because with testing, this thing takes about 55,000 RF to move down one block, which is a lot of power. But the plan at the moment is that if we look in here again, we'll get the ender dust, which is this stuff down here, going into this grid crafter. So if we put 4 in like this, to then get turned into an ender pearl, which then get put in this crate, so we can get a build up there, to then get put into this magma crucible, to then get turned into resonant ender up here, to then get put into these ender generators, which generate the power, which then goes into here, which then will power the frame pushers and sliders as well. Right, so these are set up similar to what we had on the tunnel bore. This one here will slide the whole contraption down, and then as everything else goes down, this one stays in the same spot, and then this one will push it back into place. And this setup up here will push it all the way back up again. So let's see. There's something got stuck because we haven't got any power coming in, have we? Oh, oh no, wait, there it is. Ah, no, so it has gone all the way through. We just need 4 ender pearls for a bucket to then fill up this bucket and send it into here. Right, so that's pretty much the system at the moment. In fact, we'll sleep through the night and just do the final couple of bits. Now, we have some wireless redstone receivers there and there, so we'll send a redstone signal through to pulse the up slider and the down slider, so with a wireless signal. And we've also got a wireless signal on this thing in here. This is a block update detector, and this will trigger every time the whole thing moves. So that way we can use a redstone signal to keep track of how many blocks down or up our whole thing has gone. So when, like for example, if we send a pulse to the slider and we don't have enough power to go down, then if we're somewhere else we don't know that it hasn't gone down because we've only sent the pulse. So this thing will go off if it actually does go down and send a redstone signal through here. This is a little state cell just to make sure there's a longer pulse coming through, and so that way we know if it's actually moved. So that's the plan. Oh, and finally, up in this spot here, which I still need to build, so I'll put this here. So pretend that's a capacitor bank. So this will be a spot we can feed extra power into the system when it reaches the top. So that's part one, and that's the bit that goes up and down. So I think we should give it a bit of a test run. The whole goal, I guess, with this, the whole system I'm going to build up, is to not use teleporting. Except for the wireless redstone. So send a wireless signal, but no teleporting of items and no teleporting of power, for example. So everything has to be delivered to this. Any extra power has to be delivered in, and any items that this digs up has to be taken away to the base, which is, we are here. This is one episode. A while ago we found this little village on top of this canyon here. So this is where we're going to be based, around here somewhere, maybe around here. So we're going to have to run a train line from here all the way back to the base down here to take our stuff home. And given that this whole thing, there's a little quarry there, is going to move off in this direction, then we're going to need some way for this thing to send items back to us here, so that then we can put them on the train and send them away. And we're going to do that with another train. So we'll get to that soon. I'll get working on that off camera, I think, unless I get a chance to do it on camera at some point for the stage 2. But let's test stage 1 and at least see if this works. So left a note for myself to fix something, and I did fix it, fortunately. Now I've done a couple of little things. I have tested it that it moved up and down, but then I made some changes, so I haven't tested again. So 2000, yeah, sometimes this has a label, but sometimes the labels aren't appearing, which is very strange. So I think 2000 is to move it down, and we want to go down because what I haven't tested is if it's going to go through blocks, and is anything here going to stick to the blocks. Now we'll get rid of this thing, this shouldn't be here, because, although I think this will just get left behind hopefully. So let's move it down and have a look. Boop. Hey. There we go. Oop, and we heard the digging there. That's all good. Let's see if it'll go into this. Nice. Alright, excellent, excellent. So if we just have a look in here. Oop. Wrong tool. There we go. So it's dug through here. Nice, nice, nice. And our power is going down. Because the power also needs to power the magma crucible to turn the ender pearls into the ender stuff, and then this thing puts it in a bucket, so the resonant ender into a bucket to then feed into those machines. We can't feed the fluid directly into those machines, and the power's also powering all the grid crafters. So if we go down again, cool, looking good. And then, this little light here, this is linked to the block update detector. So down, block update. So yes, cool. And so far we're not sticking, are we? Excellent. So this bottom bit, this I I guess the bore head, if you like, or the mining head, is going through things. Now the reason this is a long way away from the rest of the stuff, like we found with our tunnel bore, sometimes gases and things explode when we dig them. So I want to keep any damage from explosions limited to just the head bit here. And I can't remember how strong I made these, so I don't know if these will get blown up or what will get blown up. These probably will. I think we saw with our tunnel bore they did. So I'll keep it moving it down, and we'll come back once we sort of, this bit gets near the wood here, and we'll see if all this will go through. Alright, we're getting close. Having a few things attached there. By the way, there's no power being generated through that system at the moment. We just have some buffered there. Okay, things are going through by the looks of it. We haven't got any stickages at this stage, which is looking good. Cool. Alright, let's do a few more pulses. By the way, I won't be just standing here making this work the whole time doing this. This will be probably computer craft controlled. I think that'll be the best way to then read all the incoming and outgoing signals. Will probably be the best way, I think. How's our power? Alright. Oh, yeah, we're looking good so far. I think I remembered to close off all the sides that we needed to close off. I wonder if we got much stuff. Where's our? Oh, let's duck underneath and have a quick look at some of the crates. See if anything's sort of building up, or how are we doing here? We've got a few items. Slow. It's now, yes. The other thing, we're going to need speed upgrades in the transfer nodes and things, as you can see. It's going to be very slow initially. The retrievers here do have some speed upgrades. Oh, and they also have some filters so that the breaker heads don't get retrieved out of the thingamajiggies, the block breakers. Okay, and we'll check also. Actually, we'll go up here and see if things are making their way up into here, which they are not. Bug in our system. I think there's probably some filters here that are linked up that actually. Now this is odd. See, some of these filter pipes aren't opening up, so we got things coming into these crates that shouldn't be. Okay, well there's a bug for me to fix. Okay, why isn't that going into here? Oh, because it's got all this junk that shouldn't be here. That's right. Okay, cool. It's good to know that things are working, not working, and I can understand how they're not working. Alright, I'll keep doing some more testing and come back to you soon. And there it goes. So it's got through this point and these sort of wood here without getting stuck, so that's excellent. I've fixed those filters now too. It's got all this junk here. So I've just put some dummy item filters in there, just with frame block covers in the filters for the moment, and I replaced the filters, broke all the multi-parts, put some blocks in there, moved the whole thing, and then put the filters back in, and that seemed to fix that little issue I was having. Of course, we get a lot of stained clay from having a canyon here. I think we'll keep doing our testing here and keep get it sent all the way down to the bottom and back, but we might actually sort of base it when it first starts going from about here, not on the canyon itself, maybe about here. Yeah, anyway, so I'll keep pulsing it down, and we'll go sort of down and have a look at it when it reaches a bit further down. I imagine we're going to run out of power soon, so I'll have to inject some power into it, I think. Yeah, I might have to come up with a better power system. Alright, we'll get back to it in a sec. And the good thing is, even though I can't see it now, if I move it, then I know if it moves or not. I'm pretty happy about that one. Came up with that all by myself. One other thing, I've added Optifine to my client, which you might see referenced in there somewhere, but the important thing to look up here is the very top, the frame rate there, the 60 FPS, 66 FPS. I'm getting so much better performance now since I added Optifine. It's excellent. It's really, really good. We were getting pretty horrible frame rates back at the base, but all good now. So let's duck down here and have a look. See what we've got. Oh, look at that. See, we're getting stuff. There's no good stuff in there though, is there? Oh, a bit of coal, but no iron or anything yet. So we're still working our way through the stained clay, I think. Maybe reaching some rock now, which is good. We'll keep testing. I want to check what the power level's like. I will at some point put a comparator on the power system to measure when it runs out, but yeah, looking good. Something's happened. See, we're not getting the signal now, so I suspect we've run out of power. I'm hoping that's all it is anyway. We'll have to have a squeeze. And yes, no power. Which, let's see, can we find? And that's not telling us how much power there is. Yes, so power. So how far down did we get? We're not that far from the surface here. A few goodies come in still, but again, nothing nice yet. Yeah, but it's a start. It is a start. So power is going to be an issue. So we'll have to might have to go back to the drawing board with my power things and do a few more calculations. And yeah, so but I think that's a good initial test of this system. I think we can call it a success, except for the power. So we're back at the base, and these are currently all the crates that I've added into the mod. The buffer crate has one item stack, one slot for one stack. Now I'm sure I've needed this at some point. I know I've needed this for something. I've always thought, oh, I need just a crate or something with one slot in it. And I can't for the life of me think, well, I'll ever need this, but it's there for when I finally do need it. This one has 8. So another small one, just to buffer a few items. This one, the Etonium one, has 16. Again, smaller than a normal chest, so these 3 are all smaller than a normal chest. The next one, the Norium, has 32. So a normal chest has 27. So with the way I do my GUIs here, I can only sort of fit 8 slots across instead of 9 like here. So that kind of dictated the sizes of them all. And finally here is the Ladignium one with 64 slots. So currently they're the five, yes, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 crates in ObsMachines. On one disadvantage of Optifine is, you see that flickering? Yeah, that's really annoying. But small price to pay for having a much better frame rate, which is not looking better at all at the moment. Possibly because my recording is clamping it to 30 frames a second. Yes, now, moving on, finally. The other machine that I added to ObsMachines recently, this one's been in here a little while, is this guy. My first multi-block machine. Yay! This is the cutter. So basically you put metal blocks in here and there's a cutter blade and it gives you metal sheets. So a little bit too similar to industrial crafts, sort of metal plates, but yeah. I couldn't think of any other way to sort of make. You need things like this to make machines, basically. So hence the cutter. So now there's no NEI integration yet, so you don't know the recipe, but to get these you put in an atonite block and into the cutter, and it goes out here. So these are used for example, the basic machine case. Again, way too similar to IC2, but yeah. So this will probably be the first machine you actually make. So it needs these parts and two parts and a core. And so if we break this like that, so you see these two are no longer connected, and the yellow means it's not active because it's not formed. And then we put that there, and it connects. Now this top texture seems to be misaligning sometimes, but that's something I've got to fix. So if we just it's just in insert mode, we'll get this out of the way so you can just see on the top there again. So these are all connected textures once it's all formed. Now all interaction with pipes and power has to happen through the core. So yeah, you can't actually connect it to the other parts, and that's deliberate. Because this is going to be your first machine, you don't want to have it all super duper, basically. So you can open the GUI clicking on there, but you can't actually put pipes and things on these two parts. The recipe is not too expensive. Given that it's going to be the first machine you make, you don't want it to use the sheets themselves, because this is what makes the sheets. So yeah, so there's a bit of stuff you've got to get early on in the game, and it uses these things, which are the secondary metals from these. So you need to use the improved furnace for that. And there's the first multi-block machine in ObsMachines. And it's already the end of the episode. I got a bit carried away showing off my frame quarry, didn't I? Well, part one of the frame quarry. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll get working on the second part and hopefully have something ready to show you for the next episode. We'll see you then. Bye.